bunch of questions that you can ask, right, to understand your competition. So for example, you can do a deep dive into uh, what is the pricing model like, what is, the strength, weakness, threat analysis, SWOT analysis, opportunities, threat analysis, or uh, who are they competing it with, what is their market share. All of that is true, holds true. But uh, two three ways you can get deeper insights into when you're researching competition is, a, if it's a listed company. Now, so let's say I'm Swiggy or I'm MobiKwik, and I want to understand what is Zomato's business model, or where are the numbers coming from for them. Or uh, as MobiKwik, I want to understand how is Paytm beating me at my game, right? Because these are public companies now, I have access to their data in terms of, business volumes, cash flow analysis, all of that, in their, either through the DRHP that they have filed, or the report that they have published, like all how all public companies are supposed to. So that's one smart way to access data. Okay. Second, data, and also read through, what the management is worried about, what they're not. So if you get the time, do go through the DRHP. It's the draft red herring prospectus, DRHP. Okay, that every company needs to file when they're going public. So DRHPs of Zomato, Policy Bazaar, Paytm, Nika, it'll give you a lot of insights into what they're doing in their business, what are the risks that they're taking, or that they're worried about, or they want to highlight, right? What is their cash flow statement like, looking like, what has been their progress from each different business unit or business verticals, in terms of revenue, losses, profits, etc. So that's one way. Second way is, and I'm talking purely from a software product perspective. Second way is that if you have an app live, right, or your competition has an app live, you should go to the Play Store and App Store and read through all the uh, 1 stars and 5 stars that are there, right? uh, and then you should do the same thing that I we discussed about doing your own user research, that transcribe what is written, and then categorize each 1 star. So for example, kite, zero the kite, right, they are probably the best, and they're the biggest brokers in the country right now. Their I was expecting their apps rating to be probably 4.7, 4.8, very high. But I think around the time I checked, it was either 3.9 or 4.1. So I thought, where are they? I mean, doesn't look like they have a bad experience. But then I thought, let's do a deep dive. So I went and read through their reviews, and most of them were related to couple of items, like the cash. There was a problem with the cash settlement once once customers sold off uh, some shares. And second was, I think there was some technical glitch that they were facing, due to which temporarily their rating had gone down. Now there are three things that we could gather from there. One is that they have their cash settlement cycle is not that efficient, they need to work upon. Second, there is whatever technical glitch that is easily solvable. But third is, they have no problem with their user experience, which is a massive problem right now with most of the major stockbroking companies in India. And apart from, I think, Grow and Upstocks, most others are facing a severe UX challenge, right? So this is it's one way for you to, so what you can then do as a product manager for, let's say, HDFC Securities, right? You go open an account on Kite, look at what they're doing UX wise, right? How is their order form looking like, how is their watch list looking like, what is the kind of data that they show when someone presses on the stock but details, right? So, and then you kind of, probably it will help you figure out that, okay, these are the place areas where they're going right. So these are the two three different ways I wanted to highlight how you could, figure out. And then the third way is, go to social media, type out the name of the company, or go to their Twitter profile if they have one and see the responses, replies. So for example, Ola Care, right? A lot of companies have a separate care ID on Twitter, other than the company ID, right? So if you go to the care ID's responses, you will see all the complaints that people have written to, and which they have responded to, which will also give you a sense of, what are the issues with this company that you can probably solve, and what are the issues that they don't have and you do, and how they're doing it better than you, right? So these are the 2 3 smart ways that you can, do good competitive research from a software product management perspective. That's about it. Rest, these are all um, generic information that you can go through. Go through your customers, competitors advertisements, brochures, magazine articles, blogs, annual reports, sales. How many people do they have in their sales teams, right? And these data points will give you more direction, sense in terms of what direction are they taking, which you can also consider. Any questions so far? I'm guessing not. Hello.
None from my side, Satiki.
Okay, okay.
No question from my side also.
ठीक है, I guess either the topic was too boring, or I did a bad job, or I did a great job. The, Either way, since there are no questions, I think we can call it a day.
Uh, uh, Satiki, when you're talking about competitive research,
Hmm.
if you have a product which has no alternative in the market, then this thing will not come in handy. You don't have anything to
So,
research on.
can you give me an example of a product like that?
Um, any disruptive innovation that came in. For example, the online payment method when it came in. So unless and until you run
Hmm.
the product online, you will not be able to know. Um, so once one product is launched, there will be competitors. Then maybe you have something to research on. But when you are the first one to launch, how do you research? Is what I'm asking.
So there are. I mean, really depends on the kind of product you're building. Like, three things that come to my mind. Either you're building like a SpaceX, right, where nobody has built a reusable rocket before you.
Mm-hmm.
In
So, so
that's it's going
no.
to take
So let me take an example of uh, um, Drive, the where you can store your.
right.
So there is a Dropbox, there is Google Drive, there are a lot of drives available in the market.
Hmm.
But for example, if I'm taking into account that I can integrate my drive with my video calling platform, wherein, for example, Google Meets, if it integrates Drive into the video platform,
Hmm.
that would be the first one in the market, if I'm not wrong. So I don't know if it is already there out there. I'm just
Hmm.
creating a hypothetical situation. So for this scenario, there is no competitive research that I can do. I could
See,
only I can
hmm,
see at what kind of problem statement I'm solving. and I can do a research on what is the willingness of the people to accept this as a product, accept this integration into the product.
So see, I would ask three questions in such a scenario. A, if there is no competitor to what I am building, right? A, how many people have this problem, right? Because if a sufficiently large number of people had this problem, there is a high chance that something like this would have been attempted. And I mean, if it's not there, then it probably failed and things went back to status quo. Or I mean, so that's the first question to ask, that I would ask, that how many people have this problem, or not too many people have this problem, so it's not worth solving for, because you'll never find a big market, right? So that is one. Second would be, if there is no parallel for this product right now, how are people solving this problem today, right now, before Netflix and gaming? And this is something the Netflix, I'm referring to something. So before Netflix and gaming came about, how did people kill their time, right? How did they get some, keep themselves entertained? There was some non software way that they did that, right? So your competition essentially becomes that. In a few days back, I think Netflix, one of the Netflix CEO said that they're, they're getting into gaming now. So there one of the statements that I read was that there, which they put out there, is sleep is also a competitor right now. Amazon Prime is okay, but sleep is also a competitor. We want as much of the
Right,
uh, free time as possible, right? So then you have
right,
to draw those parallels, that what are you really up against?
right. Okay, something which is not a part of what you have already covered uh, is, so there are patenting being done on products which are launched in the market, right? Is there
Hmm.
something which can be done for the features of the product as well? Because as you were saying, mentioning that because you had a good rapport, you could check what the competition is doing. If they are doing something good, we can adopt and integrate it with our platform. Is there something which I think would be a breakthrough for my product when I integrate, and I don't want to others to
So
copy?
obviously, if we were onto something like that, we wouldn't, neither of us would have shared, yes, that detail. And the only reason that we would talk to each other is because the first question that I mentioned, that how many people have this problem. Not too many people in 2015 had the problem of, shop, that jewelry shopping online could solve, right? So most of them were too focused on offline, and even now to some extent, although it's changing slowly. But still, nobody really buys like a 1 lakh 2 lakh jewelry or a 50,000 rupees jewelry without touching and feeling it, right? So that was one of the reasons why. And I'm sure if any of us had any like a path breaking invention, then we wouldn't have shared. To your question, can there be some patent? I'm not sure about India. India is not that great at IP. US maybe, because so one example that I know of is Amazon's one-click purchase button, that I don't think anybody else is using so far. Another startup in US has started doing something on the same lines, but one click still remains. I don't know if their patent has expired, but they had a sufficiently long patent, like
Yeah,
15,
they
20.
have patented it. So my question actually came from there. So that feature of one tap shopping, it is patented in US. So is there something that you know of is being done in India as well? My question exactly came from Amazon. I was
Um,
thinking of the same scenario actually.
Acha. So feature wise, I'm not aware. Software wise, because see what we are trying to, the maturity of the market today in India in terms of consumer internet products at least is, which is where, like, one tap, one click payout is a front end consumer facing use case feature. So apart from cash on delivery, there'll be probably one or two other use cases which originates in India. Most of it comes from West. So I'm not really aware. Uh,
Now, because why I'm saying is like when Dropbox came in, it was a big help to a lot of people, and it saved a lot of resources for people. But Google was very quick to adapt to what Dropbox was doing. Now Google's cloud, if not at par, is way more than what Dropbox is, if I'm not wrong. But still, Dropbox is cheaper. But Google, because it has a, complete ecosystem wherein it can support other features as well, people tend to use Google more rather than opt for a Dropbox. So that is what I was thinking, if there is a way to patent it.
When I'm not really aware of the laws, but I'm
No, sure, sure, sure.
you can
Anyhow,
apply
I
for it, but I'm not sure if you'll be granted one because India is not really known for its IP laws.
no understood. So anyhow, it was just out of curiosity, nothing
Okay.
else.
Okay. Okay. So great.